All right. Hello. You guys ready to start a new big project? This guy, some Goblin. So we're also going to be using these new fancy boys. Let's try them out. Give them a shot. I mean, I tried them at I used them at Adepticon, but we can use them here too. Okay. Let's move that slightly out of the way. Try and get some of this resin dust clear. Get cracking. Good evening. Hi, Mom. How's everyone feeling post-Adepticon? Oh, I need my reference photo up. There we go. Hi, Maxwell. Welcome. Buenas noches. Evening, Sebastian. Maxwell, thanks for the tier 1. Appreciate it. What? Oh, how come I didn't predict? Because they changed the rules on Sculptor painter collaborations. Hola, Tito. Bienvenido. So that is why I did not enter. So anyways, we're just like getting a base coat of this green down in order to... So you can see I've kind of, I did a zenithal and then I just airbrushed brown over the top. Some burnt umber. Now I'm going over the skin with like a mix of burnt umber and green. Hi, Scott. Timbo. I was going to enter the bust of the Space Wolf of myself, but That's just, you know, they change the rules and I follow the rules. So, Timbo, thanks, man. Appreciate the prime. No other reason than that. Hi, Nate. So, I'm back from Chicago, and it's time to get back to work, you know? This will be the project for the next probably a couple months. Dazaby, thanks for the prime. Appreciate it. Welcome. Anybody else who went have a good time at Adepticon? I was glad to see a lot of folks there. Oh, I feel you on that one. On catching up on sleep. I got home and slept a good 14 hours straight. Let's mix a little more. So, to talk a little bit about the figure, I am basing it, the like color scheme and everything, off of Adrian's art. I want to be somewhat faithful to his original art, similar to how I did on the Patrick Masson Goblins. But I also want to do a bit of my own interpretation in terms of, you know, sort of how I do certain colors and things. There are some things that I'll be using because Adrian tends to paint with like a lot of browns on these. So it'll be a bit a blend of his work and my style. Right now I'm just focusing on getting the these kind of base layers of the green down, and then we'll continue to build up the light on the skin and work from there. What was y'all's favorite part about Adepticon, huh? Anything that you particularly enjoyed? All right, green mostly down. We just got to do his feet. Yeah, Fort Wapple's cool. I don't get to hang out in there much anymore because I'm busy, just generally busy at the show. But my first time going to Adepticon, I spent majority of my time just hanging out there painting. Which was very fun. Okay, I think he's got a couple little straps on his feet. That's fine to go over. I can always fix those later. Okay, so base coat on the skin done. Now we need to continue to push the light. I'm going to mix a new tone. I'm going to come over here and just add more of this nature green. Begin to now start to render some of these volumes. Okay, so I'm just thinking about like where the light is coming from. I know that the main view is kind of like how I'm holding him right now, maybe even slightly more. Yeah, man, he's digging deep in there. Hi, Travis. So you can see as I'm kind of working, I'm leaving a little bit of that base coat layer underneath. I'll slowly start to build up the light more and more. I don't want too much detail at this stage in terms of like leaving really, really dark shadows in certain spots. I want to be a bit more subtle than that. So I'm covering most of the work here and I'm just thinking about the light at the moment. And as I begin to work up, I'll start thinking of these like smaller volumes. There's a lot of subtle volumes in the stomach and in the forearms and things. So like right now, even though he has all these veins on the back of his hand, I'm just going to cover. And then later, when I begin to move up in the light more, then I can start to introduce some of those subtle volumes. Okay. So something like that, right? I'm not going for like a super harsh light here. Can't read that about, sorry. Good morning. Okay, so what I mean by like a really harsh light is I'm not going to go with like super heavy cast shadows and things. If I do include some, they'll probably be rather soft. Instead, I'm getting kind of the general lighting in. And then we can make, adjustments later if we want to add more of that stuff. Okay, something like such. Anybody else try out the new paints from Ammo and Big Child while you were there? So far. So at the show, I like them. I think one thing to note is that they are not pure pigment. So even though like it's just red, right? They're just going to have some mixture of white in them, just like this green does, right? This is not like phthalo green. It's got some mixture of white in it to give it coverage. So I think they're like a nice in between for if you're used to things like Vallejo or AK. But they are not pure pigment, so don't expect them to act exactly like, you know, a Chimera paint or a Liquitex or something. They cover pretty well. They're a little more satin than like super matte, which can be nice. But they are like really vibrant, and I think they're still good for mixing. It's just going to be harder to get like a tonal black with them. Like, let me show you real quick, just so that we can, just so you can see. Oh, before I go shaking my desk like crazy. So let's take just a little bit of the red here. Hello. Right. So if you mix red and green, if you mix red from Chimera and phthalo green, they're complementary, right? So in a pure pigment, that means that they will turn black, right? The reason non-pure pigments turn white is or gray is because they have white in them, and black plus white. So here it looks pretty black. I think on screen that probably looks really black to you guys. But you can see on my fingernail, right, that that's not black. So they are densely pigmented in color, but they're not like they do have white. So that's going to be a big difference for a lot of people. In fact, we can use a little of this. Okay. I'll come back to his hand and everything. All right. The other thing to note about them is that the white, at least this white, I've heard that there's going to be I was told there's going to be another white, but this is what Ruben was referring to as like a blending white. So it's not as heavy white as a pure titanium white. And because of that, it shouldn't turn your paints as chalky as fast as maybe some other, is maybe like a, pure white. You can see like that the white doesn't really desaturate as fast either, which is interesting. So you can see by adding some white, I do get some good coverage, but it's not gonna, it'll be difficult to get like a pure white. Hi, Dave. I've never used a mixing white from Winsor & Newton, no. It's an acrylic? I have golden, like titanium white. This is like a big heavy body white. Like if you want a pure white, that's the thing to use. So here I can I'm just trying to render the shapes and volumes. You can see that like that's a pretty big jump. So I'm probably going to have to come back in. Yeah, it probably is. I am guessing that is accurate. So you can see as I place this over the shadow, it's like it's not as, you can see a little bit through it still. So if you like making a little more subtle jumps in value, might be up your alley. I have used them through the airbrush. I like they spray nicely. You can thin them down quite far. What else about them? I don't know. I'll have to use them more. But we're going to use them a bunch on this guy. So I'll let you know if I have any new thoughts about them. All right, let's zoom out again a little bit. Keep up, Dave. The new Big Child paints. They should be nice and mixed after they fell all over the driveway when I got home. Another thing I haven't seen yet is like how quickly they separate. They don't seem to break. It seems you can thin them down quite a bit. But we will see how they handle being left in the wet palette. It's a thing for me is, paints separating too quickly. Like when the binder and the pigment starts to separate from each other on the wet palette. Jirio. Hello. Hi. Welcome in. How's everyone doing? Hi. What were you doing? What were you working on? Welcome all the new followers. Surfing. Murata style. Miami. Cote. Hi. Hi, hi. We're painting a goblin. What mini was that? Is he the one on the horse? Is that a horseman? Sorry, I'm not super familiar with Age of Sigmar models, names. So, anyways, just gonna keep moving up in the light. Light directions kind of coming from this way. I think we can switch to a little bit smaller brush as we move up. Shrek and Sagask. Hello. Hi, JC. Yes, I finished the fighter. He is done. This is the next big project, and there is not just one goblin. Two goblins. Haha, tricked. There's actually three goblins. He's missing his head. This is his head. No, only one. He's got a shield and an axe. This one's got a spear and a shield. And the other one, he's the weirdo. He's the one picking his nose. This is the box art. guys get a special treat and get to watch me paint the box art live. He might be. Grazog. He could be. So, the Kickstarter, I was told soon. Like soon as in very soon. As soon, we'll be working on this for the next couple of weeks. The Kickstarter page should, they'll like notify me when it goes live, should go up. But I think in the next couple months. Do I approach box arts differently? I would say that there is a yes and a no to that. So sometimes I can go a bit crazy, like I can be a bit more illustrative or do some crazier lighting techniques and stuff. But basically, like, you want to show off the figure, right? That's kind of the goal, is to show off the figure. So I tend to... Hey, Mark. I tend to try and show off the figure more when doing a box art, so I don't go too crazy. But then you occasionally have like the ones like the zombie guy I did for Hera. And that one was like, I got to go nuts because it's, a special figure with a big background and everything. On this one, I want to try and emulate Adrian's artwork a bit. Hey Mark, have you tried these? No? Okay. It's the new Big Child / ammo. It's unusual. They don't say ammo anywhere on them. Do they say? They gotta say MIG somewhere on them. Yeah, ammo. Co-branded by Ammo and Big Child. They're like halfway between Chimera and AK. So even the Phthalo blue, like, I don't think it's not pure phthalo. It has white in it. I do like the black though. I haven't used it on this at all, but the black feels very nice. It feels quite similar to everyone's favorite Vallejo model color black. Yeah, consistency-wise is more like AK 3rd Gen, and so is finish. The finish is a little more satin. Just send Alejandro a message. I don't know how you didn't get invited to try them out. Mr. Former Big Child studio painter. No, there's no pigment list on the bottles. Steph77, hello, welcome. Hi, I'm brand new here and fairly new into leveling up my painting. You were highly recommended. Glad I get to join you. Well, welcome, Gone Beyond One. Glad you're here. I will say that when I first tried the yellow, I was expecting it to act like yellow from Chimera. And then when I painted it on and it like went over, like it covered much better, I was like, oh no. It like jumped up in value a lot. Like I can show you guys, let's find, actually, I don't want to paint this directly on him, but let's just find something I can, right? So like on here. I think that's over top of black. So you can see that it's got coverage. So it's not a pure pigment yellow. Like if I take cold yellow and do the same thing. Right, that versus that. I'm not trying to sell you on anything, Sebastian. I'm just telling you how, you know, what the properties on the paints are. So far the caps are fine. They're not quite the same as, it's interesting. They don't do the Chimera thing as much. Where they like, I mean the lid is super similar. But they don't do the like the thing where they want to like squeeze out. I don't know what's different about the cap. It could be. And these are just the colors so far, right? The green, red, white. Let me zoom out. They gave me some test ones too. So these aren't all the colors I have because they gave me some specific like test colors. But they have, you know, burnt umber, which I like so far. I don't know how dark the purple is. No, I don't think so. No, I don't believe so. Ruben was talking to me about how nice the white is to glaze up. I will say that that is, if you've watched me paint for a while, not really something I do. I tend to always like glaze down. I normally over highlight right? I tend to push the lights past where I want them and then glaze back to where I want the light to be. But he was saying that they glaze up in value well also. So if that's something you like. I'm not a huge paint hoarder myself. But I will give any brand, any new paint, its fair shake. And if it is useful, then yeah. Hi, Striker, in case I didn't already say hello. Hi. How are you? Did they say who won the best of show at Resin Beast? I didn't see. I saw the Atomic Mass P3 and Golden Demon, but I didn't see the Resin Beast best of. Who got that? Atomic, the worthy, I believe, was Jonathan Ho with a big, like, Avengers versus Ultron drones diorama thing. They didn't have a best of show, only best of categories. So who wins the, like, big prize? So the big cash prizes spread out, is what you're telling me? Okay, let's just keep working on the chest so we can add some more of this white. At some point, we're going to start to add some orange. But yeah, you can kind of see how the white reacts. It's not like a super heavy white, which is nice that it doesn't get like super chalky. If you have an issue with your white getting kind of chalky, then you might like this one. I believe it is Topulus. I believe so. I'm not going to comment exactly because I don't know 100%, but I think it is a titanium white / zinc white blend. All right. So let's throw some orange. Which we could have used red, but let's, try out the orange. We're going to mix these instead of using the Caucasian skin tone that they have. I want to make like a very more like light, almost like a sunny skin tone. So it's going to take a lot of white. Right, something like this. And now I can mix that with some green to get a very light, warm green. Something a little closer to kind of how I feel Adrian has in his greens. Maybe a little actually more intense than how he has them, but that's okay. I pick up the idea is that I'm looking at the reference art of his drawing, and I'm picking up the feeling of some oranges in there, so I'm going to add some to mine. Even if it's not the exact color, right? I want to capture the feeling of his artwork, but make it my own artwork, my own interpretation. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see how they glaze also. All right. So we're going to thin this guy way down. We'll remove most of it. Works pretty well. This is like I said, this is not normally how I paint. I would normally do it the other way. So I would have like over highlighted this area and then push the light back down with more intense colors. But everybody has their own methodology. Okay, so try and push the light a little bit more up here. Bring this around a little bit. There are 3 goblins. They're right here. He's missing his head at the moment. This one goes on the far right. But I thought it would be the most interesting one to show the skin on, so. Because he's got the most exposed skin of the 3. Oh, you're going to see a lot of things other than... You're going to see a lot of goblin skin. Because I also have the Joaquin goblins to paint. The ones in the doorway, eventually. And then there's the Spira goblin on the pig. It's all goblin. All goblins all the time. Alkaz, hello. Welcome. Okay, so now I can kind of glaze down. I want to push the light here more. So I can come back in, kind of filter some tones back over the skin. I'll pull this back. Right, something like that. Do I have a prefer? So I have these, which are just like reading glasses, but they kind of became junk. Hold on a second. Albert recommended me these guys, and they come with like the little case of different magnifiers. He said he likes these because they're pretty lightweight. So yeah, I've got these. I haven't used them yet. They literally showed up like while I was, getting ready to leave. Maybe at some point during the stream we'll get a chance to use them. But I've used the like white version of those, and they were a little heavy. You should see what Federico Rovita uses. There's a picture of him on Big Child wearing them, and he uses like these crazy, like, they look like camera lenses like on his eyes. I think they're, because he's an eye doctor. I don't know what they are. They're probably super expensive. I really only use lenses like when painting eyes and super small details. You would have to ask him what they are. But yeah, they look crazy. Okay, I'm kind of happy with the chest for now. I'm sure there's some further adjustments to do, but the stomach. No, it probably won't do any cast shadow on this guy. If I do, it might just be like here or something. I don't think it super fits this figure. Or figures, I should say. We'll see. I might you know, want to include one like here or something where his arm picking his nose would cast a shadow. Hi, Dork Vega. Okay. So that gives me like a rough idea for how I want his body to look. Remember, I'm trying to focus the light this way, so I'll make further adjustments over here, but I wanted to get this like main look first, right? Remember, it's a box art, so we are focusing on the main view. The other views will be done, but we need to really, the main view is even more so important on this. Okay. All right, so we got to think about the arm. It's a cylinder, just like we did the torso is kind of like a sphere / cylinder. We need to do the same thing for the arm. So the main light is going to be like here. You probably answered that a million times already, so sorry again for asking, but how did you find your way into miniature painting, and specifically as an art, not just a hobby? I started with Warhammer. Well, technically I started with scale models with kind of like Gundams and stuff. Then I got into Warhammer, played a bunch of that, played War Machine. Then I got into like painting competitions. And kind of went from there. But yeah, scale modeling to mini war gaming or tabletop gaming, and then painting competition. So that's how I got into figure painting. Do you still find the time? Are you still interested in the hobby side? Yeah, I paint stuff for hobby. Yeah, I know, right? There's freaking privateer press guys making cool models. What a bunch of jerks. Someone said that every pro miniature painter they've asked or gets going pro. What? Yeah, I play Kill Team. Play Kill Team, play Kingdom Death. Haven't played Kingdom Death in a little bit, but do play. We're on hiatus. But there's lots of new stuff to play with from them, so we'll get back to that at one point. You're talking about the big guy with, what is that thing's name? Carver? I took a look at that by Josh. It's a heck of a mini, man. This is really cool. Mr. Quarter Paint. Kicking butt. They don't enjoy doing it perfect. I love my job. I think I might enjoy it a lot less if I had to paint like army commissions all the time, but I don't have to do that. Yeah, I think there's a big difference in like someone like me and someone who has to do army commission stuff, because I get a lot of freedom to do what I want. Like, I wasn't told a specific way to paint these. I was just asked to paint them, and am choosing to try and emulate Adrian in a way. In my own way. Were you able to get the Spear of Mirabellus Dwarf Army? No, I didn't order it. I would never find time to paint that. And it just doesn't interest me. Just not interested. Okay, so that's like kind of the rough shape of his arm here. We got to figure out like more of these on the back, but I'm just trying to get like the rough look to it. I can always come back and refine and refine and refine. Good audiobook is what does it for me. I mean, Korea's been doing it a lot longer than I have also. But I think you have to... make the enjoyment also. Right, it can I'm doing these guys right now, and to be honest, they're basically orcs. I've painted a lot of orcs. But I can find something, fun and different to try in them. Make it exciting. Find something I like in the way, or just like find something in the way that Adrian paints that I can try and, understand, learn from. It's not just, doing the same thing over and over again. I think Korea pushes himself also. He's not just doing the same thing. My job is also not just a commissioned painter. My job is also a teacher. The Pixel Savage, his full name is Kirill Kanaev. If somebody wants to link to his Instagram, he doesn't post a lot now because he's Russian and there's a whole thing going on there, but All right, so here on the face, I just want to get kind of the rough volumes in. I've already got the overall light on his head. Yeah, well, I mean, he still does box art for some Chinese companies. I think they're one of the few that are able to really get him figures to work on. So he still does work for Young. I think he's teaching quite a bit in Russia also. All right, how is his face? So it seems like this kind of goes like that. I want to make sure I get like the kind of volumes of his face similar. I mean, one thing about, Adrian's art is how he draws the faces of the goblins. So I want to kind of try and match that. Some volume interpretation going on, but I can attempt to emulate a bit of his look while still doing my own thing. Yes, I am. I am a reference. I don't know if it's pure watercolor. I'm going to assume it's some kind of mixed medium. Maybe like watercolor and colored pencil, or watercolor and like acrylic gouache or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact materials he used. I know like what he normally uses. By the way, check out Adrian's YouTube channel. It's very interesting. If you're into fantasy art just in general, he has some live paints. I'll make sure to link to it in my when I post this video up. He is, in case you're not familiar with him, he currently works for Cool Mini or Not, but he used to work for Games Workshop. He's also done work for Magic the Gathering. He is quite the prolific artist in our sphere. Carl's the man. Yes, he did the artwork for Hate, which the Cool Mini or Not game. He did all the artwork. Well, I don't know if all, but he did a lot of the artwork for, is it called Camelot? I always forget. Is it Camelot or Avalon? Something like that. The new one. That Robert Carlson did some of the painting on the figures for. Yeah, he's been around. So, okay. Now we're starting to get a sense of his face. The nose has quite a bit of like orangish red in it. I'm going to add a little bit of that. Now I don't want to go like too red orange. I do want to get some of this color in here. I think we go more for a little desaturated look. And as we build back on top, yeah, he puts quite a bit of like more skin tones in the ears and around the mouth. So we can kind of work those, just apply those colors in. And then as we go, we can kind of blend them together. Oh, in fact, I do have a book. Guys are quick. So we can get some of this orange in the like midtones, and then as we play around with the color, we can start to work these in together. How about that? It does. The ones that are right closer to me, they're right there. Let's put a little bit more red in this. They are going to Carlos, who owns Black Sun. He is the owner of Black Sun Miniatures. So they will be in, if you're in the UK, the new store, you will be able to see them at the store. Populus has his fingers on the button, man. He knows he's like all over what's going on in the miniatures world. See ya. No, that's not what I mean. I just mean he's like really into it. The man's connected. Yeah, man, things are happening. New Kickstarter gonna launch soon. The new store's opening. Breasts? Which one's that? Here we go, dropping names of figures. I don't know all the names of these figures. I don't even know the names of these figures. I don't think they have. That one. I don't even think they have names. I think they're just goblins. Cronk? We making up names? I don't know of a Kronk. It's the goblin with a sword. Is that the little one that has like the different hats and stuff? Nice. I'll see you there. That's fine. You don't have to say hi to me. Dave's the social one. Hi, Jonas. Adepticon was good. It was long and tiring as always, but it was good. Do you get fanboyed at painting competitions? Well, yes. The short answer is yes. Which is fine. Whatever. I don't mind. Just don't be weird about it. See you later. Tell her happy birthday. How was it not entering or judging? It's fine. I mean, I stayed plenty busy anyways. And I don't really get stressed at painting competitions when entering or anything. No, I apparently can just do this and this will keep people away. If I just like furrow my eyebrows, no one will come talk to me. I don't even do it on purpose. All right. Legion of Grey Plastic. Thanks for the prime. Appreciate it. All right. So it's starting to come together. We're getting like a kind of rough idea of the skin, like in the color tones. Got a lot to work to do on the back, but in terms of like the main view, I think it's working all right. So we can start kind of working our way around, doing some more detail on the face, doing some more detail on the hands. Yeah. I would tell everyone, feel free to come say hi. I don't bite. Unless I'm speed walking somewhere, which means I'm probably going to class, but even then you can hit me with a high and I'll just say, so. All right, let's continue with some of the hands here. Need to just get the shape of these fingers in. I can use a little more orange in the underside. Get some of the what will be the ground reflection. You can see it works as a shadow tone without overdoing it. Big kid. Hi Eric, I'm a French fan of your work, especially on Bane Bloodhoof. Anyways, can you explain why you don't use a wet... What? Why you don't use a wet palette? I'm using... This is a wet palette. This is a red grass wet palette. So yes, I use a wet palette. And in terms of handling dilution, so this is the what's it called? The membrane. You can see here, there's the sponge. These are the reusable membranes. They don't let as much water through as as regular parchment paper, which works well in my area because where I live is very humid. And because of that, and because of the humidity, I don't like, if I use regular parchment paper, it can get very, the paint can get overly saturated too fast. Saturated like with water, I mean. And for handling dilution, I tend to not dilute my paints a whole lot, but if I need to dilute my paints, I just go off of how much water I leave on the brush. So I have a paper towel that's like you guys can't see on camera, but it's right here. And just depending on how much water after I clean the brush I remove from the brush can affect how much I dilute the paint. So I don't mix water in normally directly into the paint. I will just have more water in the brush as I load the brush. Hope that makes sense. Hi, Rui. He's going well, I think. Enjoying some... Oh, who is this fine gentleman? He is one of 3 new Goblin figures for an upcoming Kickstarter from Black Sun. It will be in the same Kickstarter that I did the 4 Goblins on the tree. Yes, there will be quite a few, including a bust that Arnow did a while ago. No, I don't have an official date yet. I will say I expect a couple months. I don't have anything more specific than that. But soon, in the either next week's stream, hopefully, I will have the link to the Kickstarter page, the notify me page. We'll try and push to get that up, but well, what's it considered if there's 3 figures that come together? Is that considered one? Or is that considered 3? Oh, sculptor is... Hold on, I'll find out. I'll figure it out. Give me a second. I'll tell you who the sculptor is. He is a British sculptor. James Kane. James Kane is the sculptor. He works for XM. He does some work for XM Studio. He did that bust that Christoph Kabalchek painted recently. I think Mark did one also. It's like a Night Lady. I think it was a Mindworks figure. I really like it, actually. It has a very hand sculpted feeling to it while being digital, which I think is very interesting. Okay, so I'm struggling with seeing my own improvement. How do you get past that hurdle? You're struggling with seeing your own improvement. Well, are you looking at your past work? Like, are you looking at the figures you did like 2 years ago, or are you just looking at your last figure? You know, because if you don't look at your previous work, you got to go back. Look at your You look at your work from a while ago. Not every figure is going to be, immediate jump. You have to compare to your older work. I also think that sometimes that happens. That you will work on one particular figure, you push hard on one particular figure, and you have those like aha breakthrough moments where you make a big improvement. To get over that striker, I think you need to get out of your comfort zone more. Okay? So if all you're doing is painting Star Wars figures or whatever you're working on, it's really easy to get into a rhythm. And it can be hard to push yourself to try new things. So I would recommend like trying to change subject matter, you got to try something new in order to push yourself to build new skills. How do you identify areas to work on? I mean, I know people say comparing yourself to other artists is bad, but I think comparing yourself to other artists in some ways can be a good thing, where you can look at someone, see that they do something that you like, or that you think they do something better than you, and try and analyze what makes what they're doing better and try and work on those things, right? And yeah, when you get really stuck, you can seek, seeking feedback is another good method. But you have to be open to feedback, right? You can't just seek feedback and be like, they don't know what they're talking about, right? You have to be really open to feedback. Yeah, I mean, change scales, change subject matter. Spend some extra time on a figure if you feel like you're, really rushing. Try and like really take your time with one. I mean, that's like, okay, I can get that. Like, that could be tough to, swallow but everyone learns at their own pace. So, a lot of times, the other thing you have to remember is your buddy who painted a figure in 2 days and got an award, right? How much time did he spend painting other models before that? Right? Like, I paint pretty fast. I've gotten some pretty big awards with figures that I've painted quite fast. But it's all the other extra time that goes into it, right? I could say like, oh, look at this. I painted this skin in 2 hours, right? But you didn't see, this is a culmination of practice, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of hours to get to this point. People often will see my current work or how fast I paint something on stream, and yeah, they forget that I painted like 70 models last year, like 70 display models, or 60, whatever it was, between 60 and 70, pieces in a year, right? Yeah, that's called deliberate practice or dedicated practice, focused practice, whatever you want to call it. And I recommend the same thing. It's something I do a lot, right? I wanted to improve portrait work. So the last few figures between the bust of myself, the Night Lady I did, the fighter, the vampire, those were all ways for me to practice on portraiture, trying something a little different and new. There is, you guys haven't seen that? Hold on. I'll grab it. Right? There. So, right. So I wanted to improve portrait work. So you practice that. Jumping on that, did you have a moment when you stopped feeling precious about your figures? What I mean is, being relatively new to hobby, I feel like that I should Still hold back on experimenting stuff with fear of ruining it, but realizing now. So we figured, dude, it's just plastic. Paint a one of a kind, and you'll lose that fear really fast. Or the classic story I tell. I did a Dr. Doom for Crystal Brush in 2019, I think it was. I did a figure. There was a Dr. Doom. I got feedback. Chris Surrey, from Chris Surrey on my base. He was like, I think the base is too tall. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It is too tall. So I took the fully painted figure, done, out to my wood shop, and I cut a half an inch out of the base. Like literally took the figure and just went through the bandsaw and cut a half an inch out of the base. And then I glued it back together and blended the rubble back together. You can't tell. But if you've never run a finished competition figure through a electric power tool, yeah, you'll lose the fear of ruining your figures. They are not precious. That was Steve. Yeah. I mean, poor Steve. Poor Steve has horrible luck with figures, I swear. TSA keeps breaking his figures. His dog chews his figures. Hi, John. Yeah, they're just plastic. You'll be fine. Let's, you know what? We were talking about cast shadows earlier. When to decide to use one? You know, I think I want one right here. I might have a little one on his shoulder. Nothing extreme, you know, just a little touch. Just a little touch and an effect. I don't believe you can ruin a figure to the point where there's no coming back from it. I just don't think that can happen. Sebastian, that one needs a graphic warning. Seeing that figure, it might cause some people some distress. Okay. So you can see on the shadow side, I'm going a little more orange with it, just like we did with the fingers over here. So kind of in this area, we got a little more olive tone, a little more camo green. Hey, hi Jason, or Jordan, I don't know who. Is this for their next Kickstarter? Yes. Yes, it is. Indeed it is. We are cranking away. Well, it's supposed to be happening very soon. I think this is the last figure to get painted for it. Oh darn, I got somebody into bus. That's terrible. Won't somebody think of them? Their poor market share. To be honest, though, most of us got into it through them, you know? GW is good for the rest of the industry. I would say like 90% or more of large-scale figure painters got into painting large-scale figures because of GW. All right, so I'm trying to get some of his like forehead wrinkles here. I don't think I'm going to go quite as heavy on the texture as in the original image, but it's hot already. Dude, it's still March. Why does anybody live there? Hello, the glorious eagle. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for following. All right, so keep pushing the details. We are gonna have another cast shadow here on his nose. All right. So, looking at the photo, the original artwork, and one thing I'm noticing is that this smile line is not as pronounced as it is in the sculpture. So I'm actually gonna kind of eliminate it a little bit. I'll leave it up by the nose, but I don't. Here, we'll zoom in so you guys can see a little better what I'm talking about. So you got this smile line right here, right? The nasal fold. In the original artwork, it's not super pronounced. So I'm actually going to sculpt with the paint and make that a little more subtle than it is on the sculpture. This is also a little more subtle. It's there, but it's not like super intense. This line is very obvious. So by adjusting that, right, we can kind of change the shape of the face a little. Okay, get a little more of that orange in. Remember, this is still just a sketching stage. I mean, it's a more advanced sketch at this point, but I haven't done like glazing or anything yet to really make fine adjustments. Still just searching for the volumes and things like that. It was funny, man. Flamon came to play, came to say hello and stuff when we were playing cornhole Saturday night. And he's like, I'm like, all right, well, you got to throw the bags once at least for Team Europe. And he was like, no, I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. And I was like, nah, it'll take 10 seconds. You gotta do it. And instantly hooked. He was like, okay, this is fun. I'm not going to bed. I didn't trick him. It was just like you have to at least participate, right? Got to represent the EU. I'll just say Europe because, the Brits also participated. We'll say the continent. It was North America versus Europe. I don't want to exclude any Canadians. But that said, North America is currently up 2-0 in annual cornhole. So, Europe, get your act together. I think next year somebody's gonna try and Tanya Harding me, Oh yeah, he's going for it. He's up in there good. Good night, Jonas. I think we need a little bit of light on the nostril right here. Might have been too much, but we can tone that down. Blue? You guys think blue? goblins have blue boogies? I would assume they're the same. All right, so here we're going to take a little bit of red, orange, not red, well, maybe a little touch of red, orange. We're going to, just around the ear here, make a small adjustment. Add a little bit more of that warm color. So very little subtleties. Give that more natural skin tone feeling. Who dat? Hey! Thanks, Monument. Appreciate you. Thanks for the gifted subs. If you got a gifted sub, thank Monument. One of the hardest little things on these guys is they have this. So this is what I really need these the visors for. They have tiny little teeth sticking out, and the tiniest little squinty eye. Yeah, man, Nova's gonna be sweet. Capital Palette's gonna be crazy. Forget about GD. GD's done for now. Capital Palette's next, baby. So in the artwork, he didn't really define this hair very much, but he's got black hair. So everybody needs to get cracking on those Capital Palette entries. Are you going to do the gold hobby the brush holder, the brush case again? I can't win one. I'm not allowed. It's not fair. No, it must be earned. Hola, Sergio. ¿Qué tal? Bien. ¿Y tú? That red is strong. Was turned red very fast. I don't know why I'm doing this without glasses. This is definitely the stuff that I need glasses for. I mean, it's okay, but I can see it in the screen all blown up huge. All right, let's see if we can get these things, huh? I don't know the difference in these. I'm assuming these big ones are like the super... Oh, geez. Maybe not those. Maybe like these. How do these clip on? I did it. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Por supuesto. All right, let's try and do some tiny stuff. See ya. All right, can I see? Oh, this is gonna be hard. I've never painted with these on camera, so forgive me. Well, I've painted with these things before, but not these specific ones. And I've never done it on camera. So, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not perfect. But let's do this. All right, so we'll get it focused. So I know I just can't move from here. Am I on camera? I'm drifting. Trying to see his actual eye shape. So that's his eyelid. Yes, that is his upper eyelid. So actually, that's not his eye, that's his upper eyelid. This is a little hard to tell. I'm going to try and make it clear for you guys. So that's his eyelid. That's his lower eyelid. And then his eye is actually a very small little squinty eye. Dude, Space Marine eyes don't even come close to how small these are. So that's actually his eye. You see that? Yeah, he's got a big upper eyelid. Okay. All right, let's get. All right, camera. Okay. All right, don't move. Yeah, we're not doing that, Sebastian. That's not happening. We'll have to fix his nose, but that's okay. All right, I want... a teeny tiny brush for this. Okay, we got his eye kind of base coated. It's not so great, but that's all right. They're weird. He kind of just does a black dot. They have like really beady eyes in his artwork. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this. Make sure I'm on camera. Okay. And we outline the top and bottom. And we fix it a little bit. Then we can make our little bit of pink. Like a pink. Not really pink, but relatively pink. This is one of the reasons I don't like these super tiny brushes, is because the paint dries out really fast. Oh, it's drying fast. Don't get me wrong. It's about how much I'm loading the brush. Right there, we have one super duper tiny eye. And then we can fix the nose where I screwed it up. Hey guys, what's going on? Huh? I will tell you, it is not a good idea to wear these for a long time. These should be reserved for when painting stuff like this. You give him a Mr. Magoo. And you should avoid using them when you can, or use a lower magnification where you can. These are like super high magnification. This is for doing stuff like this. I want to paint a little line in between his nostrils. Okay, we do that, and then we've just kind of blended together. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. That's way too red. And add a little green. Clean it up a little bit. Make some small adjustments there. I want that like high cheekbone look, you know? Yeah, this will hit YouTube tomorrow, and I'm also probably heading out in a minute. I think we got quite a bit done on the face and on the body, kind of give the idea. There's still stuff to do, you know, but I think we got pretty far along. But yeah, if you missed any part, or you want to go back and review something, this will go up on YouTube. You can, of course, watch all the old streams. And if you missed, there's the another orc tutorial. There's Roog the Dragon Breeder, which is like a more consolidated tutorial. Talking about doing some cast shadows, some OSL, some red dragon scales. You're welcome. Glad anyone found it useful. All right. Oh. We got kind of, all right, let's zoom out to like a normal damn size. You guys are watching me paint this thing like super up close, and we fail to remember that this is like this big, you know? So yeah, we are about done with them for tonight, I think. Got a bit of skin painted. You're welcome, Pixel Savage. So we'll stop there for tonight. We're going to be painting these guys for a while. We'll get all kinds of interesting things on them, but let's jump over, see who else is streaming, you know?